All right. Thank you to those of you who are joining me for this video. This is the last video I plan to post on any of my social media regarding this upcoming presidential election. And as far as these two-party candidates, this is not an endorsement of either party. I'm just going to state some facts here. You make whatever choice you want. That is what a free election and a free society allows each one of us, is to assess the candidates that we feel will be the most beneficial for what we want in a president going forward. So you do that. But I've got to put this out there because I feel that it's necessary with what is being discussed in the news media and what's going on a lot of the podcasts. So before I get into this, this YouTube disclaimer, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. With that said, I want to keep this very brief, but I want to just show you two things that have occurred with the now presidential nominee for President Kamala Harris, and this Donald Trump putting it out there at the Black Journalist Conference in Chicago that, she suddenly became black. This happened 4 years ago. I tried to tackle this issue, but so many are uninformed and they're too lazy to get informed. Even though we live in an information age, we can sit down and find out what's really going on. And it's really sad and pathetic that people want to, beat the banter for someone without having any informed knowledge of what they are actually supporting. It appears to me that so-called blacks, African Americans, who are really the actual Hebrew Israelites here in the United States of America, due to the captivity that we were in when we came into this, well, we were in the land, but we became captive in our own land, became slaves. And it seems as if what we're dealing with here is we just want something to have a party about. We are people that are so downtrodden, so beaten down, that any opportunity we get to celebrate something, we just celebrate, and we never sit and consider, what are we so excited about? For 60 years, since the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1964, which will be 60 years this year, we have gotten nowhere. We are like walking on a treadmill. And if you come back and tell me, oh, we've made advances, listen, you have not made advances until you don't have to keep going back over the same issues year in and year out. Okay, that's when you have made advances. So please don't come here with what advances we've made, the little etchings. You all need to go listen to Dr. Claude Anderson, one of the last of our elders who hasn't given up fighting for us, so you can understand how ignorant you sound. Right now, we are set to have zero wealth as a group come 2050. Zero wealth. We are on pace to do that. And no one is saying, why don't we just do what we promised these people we would do and pay them their reparations? Our ancestors built this country, made cotton king, and made this country the richest, most industrialized nation ever known to man. And we still are sitting here allowing laws to be passed to help every other group but us. When that civil rights law was passed, it was supposed to be beneficial to us as a group. But every other group became a minority so that they could benefit from that Civil Rights Act, and we still standing in the same spot. I'm tired. I am extremely tired, and I'm sick of the gaslighting. So I want to put this out there and show you all what Kamala Harris said about reparations. And this is what she said about reparations. Let's just play it. Just excuse me here for a moment. I'm not technically inclined, but we're going to just play what she said.
Do you support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country, right?
Okay, so there it is out of her own mouth. And this video has gone viral. I'm sure many of you have seen it, but you still don't get it. You still don't get that now that she is claiming to be a Black woman. She's claiming she's a Black woman, but she says out of her own mouth, she's not about to do anything specifically for Black people. But watch, the proof is in the pudding. Watch this. Let's get who she is willing to do something for. Now here she is. Here's what the new hate crimes law aims to do as attacks on Asian Americans rise. This is May 20th, 2021. 3 years ago, she stood her cute Black self up here while, as vice president, smiling and excited, while President Biden signs into law, following overwhelming support from both chambers of Congress. President Biden signs legislation Thursday that addresses hate crimes throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, with particular emphasis on the increase in violence against Asian Americans. At an event in the East Room of the White House, Biden thanked lawmakers for coming together to pass the legislation. He said standing against hatred and racism, which he called the ugly poison that has long haunted and plagued our nation, is what brings Americans together. My message to all of those who are hurting is we see you, and the Congress has said we see you, and we are committed to stop the hatred and the bias, he said. Now, with that being said, they signed this bill into law in record time. In 1 year, they got this bill signed into law. Here we have the late Representative John Conyers. There was a commission to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans Act. Is an act of Congress in the United States introduced in 1989 by the late Representative John Conyers. This man has died. The act aims to create a commission to examine the merits of introducing reparations to African Americans for U.S. slavery. 1989. But they were able to pass the Asian Crime Hate Bill in 1 year. Now, I don't know about you, but whether you call yourself black, whether you identify as African American, I'm trying to tell you we keep getting gaslighted and we keep getting told our pain doesn't matter. We have suffered for 500 years ongoing domestic terrorism while we've had our neighborhoods, after they told us we're not giving you anything. When we came out of slavery, we took nothing and we built communities, vibrant communities that they bombed. Like Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, like Redwood, Lake Lanier. All of these places where you just destroyed the lives of so-called black and African American, which are really the true Hebrew Israelites, that this country has just said, we're not doing nothing for you all. Matter of fact, we're more worried about the Asian Americans than we are you. But every 4 years, you don't hear nobody pandering for the vote of Asian Americans, but they pandering for your vote every 4 years. The African Americans could really decide, that could be the community that could decide the president of the United States. I guess not, because you all don't give a damn about what happens to us as a people. Now watch this. Don't tell me she wasn't standing there. She was standing there. Here she is. Who y'all are so excited about. Here she is. There she is. There's your president to be, your queen to be, up here with her so-called black self.
We want to take you now to the East Room of the White House, where President Biden is about to sign a COVID-19 hate crimes law a hate crimes act into law. Let's watch.
Here it is. Here's the proof. You all stop being so stupid and foolish. See how excited she is because she's Asian American. She is not African American.
Alrighty then.
She's a liar.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Let
me start by saying to all of the leaders here, thank you.
But y'all are so stupid and foolish.
To the members of our United States Congress on both sides of the aisle who helped pass the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, thank you. And a special thanks to Senator Mazie Hirono and Congresswoman Grace Meng for leading this incredible effort. And I know you did not do it alone. And there are many more. I could name a couple of whom I will. Among them, Senator Tammy Duckworth, Senator Richard Blumenthal, Senator Jerry Moran, Congresswoman Judy Chu, Congressman Don Beyer, and Congressman Fred Upton. Because of you, history will remember this day and this moment when our nation took action to combat hate. Thank you all. Around this time last year, when I was in the Senate, Senator Hirono and Senator Duckworth and I introduced a resolution in the United States Senate condemning the rise of anti-Asian sentiment in our country. At that time, more than 1,100 anti-Asian hate incidents had been reported since the start of the pandemic. Today, that number is more than 6,600. And I'm talking about incidents where businesses...
And you all think she's black. She got that law passed. She introduced the resolution concern for the hate shown towards Asians during the pandemic. But for 500 years, can you imagine what our numbers of hate acts have been in this country? Next to 6,000, we get that a year. Likely more than that. But I'm saying this woman is telling you she's black, but she got a a hate crimes act passed into law for the hatred towards Asian Americans. She's Asian American. If you need more proof, here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Because we're going to stop being so foolish. Here we go. Kamala Harris, first Indian American U.S. Senator. Okay?
We're coming up on a major fundraising deadline, and there aren't many more between now and the election. So I am asking.
California's Kamala Harris is the first Indian American U.S. Senator. The state attorney general took on another Democrat, Loretta Sanchez, for the seat.
Now,
it was the first time a Republican wasn't on California's general election ballot in more than a century. Though her win is historic, it's not really a surprise. Polls showed Harris leading by double digits heading into Election Day. And she received more than 40% of the vote in California's primary.
Yeah, she's trying to keep
Harris
him
is a
off
rising star in the
ballot.
party.
Vote for him.
Her name came up
if you want to vote. And he's blacker than most black men. He's blacker than most black men. But here's Dr. Shiva Aradora. He's blacker than most black men. But here he is, not trying to say he's a black man. Okay? He's an Indian American and he's proud to be one. You know? So this is what we need, who we need to be looking for to vote for president. If you just got to vote for an Indian American, vote for Dr. Shiva Aradura. He's an independent. You see? Vote for him. Vote for this man. Here he is. Vote for a visibly black man, since y'all need him to be black. He's dark, but he's an Indian American, and he's not hiding the fact that he's an Indian American. You see, he's not hiding behind lies and disguises and to be black for political expediency. So I'm just telling y'all, the woman told y'all she ain't doing nothing specifically for y'all. But you all are out here willing